Hi everybody, Jo here again. How you doing? I hope you're keeping well. Hope things are going okay this week. Always nice to start another new week, isn't it? Full of promise. Well, let's think so. Let's hope so. Now, today I've got a lovely little design. I've got a feeling it won't show up that well. I've used lovely pale colours, but in my demo I'll try and do it a little bit darker because obviously pale colours tend not to show up that well. And I just wanted to have a bit of a play with, as you know, I love circles, and extending this and sort of having scenery around the circle. And what I've done for my design, I've used a square. So this is actually mounted onto, it's one of our Multifarious 6x6 cards, and I've popped it on a 7x7. But for my actual design, I'm going to use a different shape. Again, just to show you a little bit of a variety, because I know some of you prefer square cards, some of you it's rectangular cards, and a lot of you are into your journals and your scrapbooking. So try and cover all bases. At the end of the day, we're just going to have some crafty fun, and I'm hoping even just one little bit might just inspire you to go off and create something. Might be totally different. I mean, in the centre, I've stamped our beautiful scout, and this is the small one. Simply because we have done a similar design with florals before, and I thought, right, so let's not use florals, let's just think. And that's the beauty of this design. I think if you look and see how many stamps would fit inside this beautiful circle. And I always think it's good to do that, a bit of homework to start off with. And I love looking through my stamps. I don't know about you, just to see what I've got, because I certainly forget what I've got. So that's the similar sort of design, as I say. And I thought I'd come in with one of our A5 pieces. And this card is actually from the multi-pack. I love the multi-pack just because it gives me so much variety in my, as you can see, I think I've used almost 7x7 out of this. So obviously I must be into those more at the minute. And I'm going to start by making this background. Now, in the design here, I've popped it off to the right, just slightly, look. So I'm thinking because of the shape here, I'll pop it over this side. Try and think before you start, and you know what, it's not easy. So like I say, choices, we could pop it in the middle, but because Scout is facing that way, I'm thinking let's maybe put it over here. That'll be a challenge for me, won't it? So we might have a bit of reflection. I'm just using my acetate circle masks here, but I'm also being mindful, and I've got ready a smaller one, and I've also got one of my mini hill masks at the ready. And I'm going to come in with blue Atoll. And I've got my lovely stencil brush. Now I'm being mindful, I'm just going to hold this, and I always pop it in the lid, so the lid's here. So ink in the lid. And I'm being mindful, this is going to be my bottom corner. And I know it's a circle, but you know what I mean. We're allowed to say things like that when we're crafting. So every time I ink up, I bring my stencil brush into this corner. And that way, that corner or part of that circle, that area will automatically be darker. And that will just give me automatic help to create a 3D shape. But also, if it's a new ink pad or if a new brush or you're worried about getting marks, if you start there, use most of your ink up in this section and go round. Now, before I add too much ink up here, I'm going to get my little circular mask and pop it under there, look. And then what we'll do is come in and we'll just add that moon in here. And then once again, before I get too much ink on there, I'm going to add one of our hills. And I just want to get the right shape. I think I want a bit of a rolling hill. I like that shape, look how it follows that. So just check that's there. If it moves slightly, don't worry, you can move it back. Yeah, so I like that. So I'm just going to use the ink that's on my brush. I think there'll be enough there. little tip, try not to re-ink too much. You may not need to. And again, I love to use that ink that's on my brush. Be a bit thrifty. Let's have a look here. Look at that, you see, that's plenty. I'm just going to move that. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, happy with that. So you've got that lovely design. But what I'm going to do is pop my moon mask back on. And then I just want to add a little bit of colour in the sky over here. So I'm not re-inking. I don't want it to be the same colour. I know you're saying, why didn't I do this in one go? But I want this lighter. I want it to look like it's almost outside the circle. So can you see, just to get that difference? And we'll give that a wipe with Mr. Inky Binky before we put it away. And then back to my hill mask. Right, so it's just disappeared. There we go. Does that ever happen with you? You pop it down and I'm sure it moves. So we're going to extend this. So I'm just going to turn this way. And let me just have a look. You don't have to use exactly the same. I just want a shape that'll look nice. So I think that'll look nice. Now again, I'm not adding any more ink on my brush. I think I'll have enough because I want it a little bit paler so that it looks like it's outside. Does that make sense? And then we'll just pop along to this side. And have a look where... Right, I like that shape going up there. So again, I'm not adding any more ink. Yeah, and then I can come down. And again, don't be afraid of moving your mask along to create your new shape. And then let's have a shape underneath. And I want to again mimic that circle. So that does that nicely. So we'll just add just under the actual... Yeah. So all the time, what I'm trying to do is almost mimic these shapes. And I like that. It sort of just looks... Now, that would be lovely in different colours. And I love just all those contrasting colours that you're getting. Now, if you've lost Mr. Mojo, I think this will be a lovely design to have a play with. Use different colours of ink. Choose different stamps. So we'll come in with Scout. And I'm just going to use the black, the Nocturne. Now, Scout's quite a sizable, even though this is a small one, it will just fit perfectly. Now, me being me, I've got a bit of ink, look, on my acrylic block. So if you bear with me a minute, I'm just going to wipe that off. Because if I don't, I'm going to get it on this lovely background I've made. Because that's what I'm like. So I'm just going to position Scout, I think, there. Look, I've got a bit of... Try and get rid of that bit of black ink on my finger. That won't do. Now again, Scout's a silhouette, so I'm just going to let that ink soak in. As you know, I'm not one of these. We have clever crafters who can just put the stamp down and it stamps beautifully. In my little world, in my little craft room, that doesn't happen, I'm afraid. But it would be lovely if it did. Now, I've just noticed, I've got a little bit of glitter on my stamp. Look, I don't know if you can see it. And what that's meant is I've got a tiny little bit there that I've missed. Now, that's not a problem because all it means is I'm going to clean my stamp. My stamp, obviously, I just clean it with a damp cloth and my Inky Binky, but maybe it needs a bit of a wash. That little bit, I can see it, there's a little bit of glitter. But it's not a problem. You could do two things. You could get your black fine liner, but I'm going to add some white highlight, so I'm going to leave mine and just add the white highlight, so don't worry if that happens. Now, I added some foliage, and the foliage I've gone for is off the silhouette foliage, and you get two stamps, and I love this one. And I'm thinking I'm just going to add this here, and I think that'll follow that lovely shape. Now we have got almost a larger version of this, the wild, is it the wild flowers? And I think if you've got that, you know, you could use this silhouette foliage in combination with it. And I love looking for stamps that we can use in combination. And don't worry, because although my landscape doesn't come this far, we'll just add some shading underneath. We can even add some ink and make it look like it does. Just extends that way, doesn't it? I think that's lovely. Now, you could put something in the sky here. We've got our beautiful birds. So many things you could add. I want to leave that space for my sentiments. But what I will do, just add some colour to Scout's wings. So I'm going to come in with my lovely watercolour pencils. And I've gone for 3 blues. And I know you like to know the numbers. So we've got 15, 18 and 19. Just to make these wings pop. And I'm not going to do anything difficult here. Just going to use my darker colour first. Then my mid blue, and then just come in with my lighter blue, and we'll just do some wink of colouring, and I'll just blend it all with my lovely clear wink of Stella. Now don't forget we've got the gold and silver if you wanted gold and silver tones. I'm just going to use the clear on this, just because I think it goes nicely with the blue. I'm just going to add a little bit more dark in the middle there, look. And then we'll start with the lighter colour, look, and then blend down into that dark colour and drag that blue. And that is such a lovely way of blending. Look at that depth of colour. Now again, you will get a little bit on your brush, look. So just on my copy of paper till it goes clear and it's back clear, that's fine. So pretty. And then a couple of finishing tricks. Now this would be a very quick card to make. Again, you could batch card make. So soft pastel pencils. I'm just going to add some little highlights with the white. Now I know some of you struggle with highlights. I've got to be honest. There are probably rules to follow, but I just put them for me just at the top. We've got the moon on this side, so I'm thinking this part of the body would have a little bit of highlight. Now you can use your white Posca for this, your white gel pens. I like my pastel just because I can smudge it, and the smudging does 2 things. It fixes it, but also it just makes it a little bit more softer. I'm not keen, for me, I don't like the way I add the highlights, and I think it's too obvious if I use a Posca, but that's just me. I know Mona does it fabulously, but again, we all know our strengths and our weaknesses, and so I just find something I'm happy with, and for me, I'm happy with this. So if you look, we've added some down here, look, and nobody will ever know where that bit of glitter was. Add a little bit on there. And a foot, and then I'm just going to add a little bit on the grasses here, just on this side again from the moon. And then with the black, which doesn't want to come out of the box, just going to add a little bit under Scout's foot here, and then a little bit, and then just blend that out. Now again, you can use your finger. I'm just using a biodegradable cotton bud. You can use a blending stump. It's whatever you're happy with. And I just think that just makes that little bit of difference there. Now you could add another bit of foliage here. On my original look, I added another piece of foliage. But just to show you how I did that, it's just simply... get yourself your copy of paper, and I've gone off the flower collection, look. There's this gorgeous twiggy little bit, and I just wanted a little bit in the distance here. So with the black ink, and this is such a useful little stamp, and I don't want much of it showing, so maybe just say that much. Yeah, don't want much at all. So come in again My black pencil definitely doesn't want to come out today. And I don't want much under here. Just that idea of a little bit of shadow and it tailing off that way. And again, I think that evens it up nicely. So to finish off, a couple of little tricks. I've got my lovely blue Posca, and I thought my flowers, I just wanted them to, because of Scout's wings, so I'm just going to come in and add a little bit of blue Posca to the flowers. Just in the middle, so I've still got that lovely black sort of silhouette outline, but it's just that hint of blue. And I must admit, I couldn't decide whether to do blue or white splats. But I'm just going to add a little bit of blue around a couple of these as well. Just that nice cohesive design, just to tie the blue Posca in a little bit more. Little highlights on there. And then I decided in the end I'd go for white splats. But I think blue would look nice. And again, I'm holding it close, directing, so I know exactly where they're going to go. Just over the moon there, look. And maybe just a couple in there. Now, I think this would make a lovely birthday card for a male, but as I say, for me, it's that whole design that I thought was lovely. That mixing and matching the mini mill hasks? What are mill hasks? The mini hill masks. I think I've just created a new word, haven't I? That could have gone so wrong depending what I was trying to say. Oh dear, you know what I'm like. But I think, as I say, this design and looking at different stamps that would fit in here. I mean, the fish, maybe it looks like a porthole. And again, a card that you could vintage up. You could use your brown tones. So many possibilities with it. And it's just that combination that we're using together. So to finish off, I'm going to go for one of our lovely sentiment stickers. And this is from set 6. And there's not many left on this. And I'm thinking out of the blue. Because I think Scout is looking out of the blue what is going to appear. I almost want to put 3 ships here and make it the sea. Well, you could, couldn't you? You could make that the sea. Put yourself one of our lovely Liberty. Or, you know, spots. There are so many things you could do. So, as always, on my scissors. And I think that's too far away. I want it more sort of in the design. So I'm just going to put out of the blue there. And I'll bring in my original design. So that one's been mounted up just to show you the difference, how you can create different shape. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you have a go, and I can't wait to see what stamps you choose, what colours you choose. We've got so wonderful colours, the Elements ink. You could make notelets, and you could use a different colour for each one. Go on, have a go. Do tag me in. I love to see what you create. So you take care. Have a lovely, lovely evening. Sleep well, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.